are you doing, beloved?
Attention, attention, my black brothers. What I want y'all to do right now is take out the do-rag, the silky, tie it down. I want to see the waves glistening. If you got nappy hair, pick it. Don't let nobody discourage you.
Ariel.
Black boy, black boy.
All right. So my first question out the gate, like we always do, is what book would you all love to see as like a movie or a series that has not already been made into one? So we're not letting y'all go through like your archives.
I already know my answer.
I have one already.
Sula. I would love to see Sula televised with the right director and writer. Maybe Barry Jenkins could do that. I feel like I would trust him with that story because If Bill Street Could Talk was great. Sula was one of the most interesting. I told you I'm not I don't love fiction. I've only had to get into it in the last 2 years. So, and Sula was like the book that was like, okay, you know what? This is something I really can enjoy. It was just, I thought she was such an interesting character. She's definitely a wild card, and I appreciate characters that are iconoclasts, like they just aren't what their culture is. And I thought that her shaking shit up made people realize things about themselves, and if it didn't, then it definitely exposed who those people were to the readers. And I'm who doesn't love a character that makes other people make their personalities or characters shine more, right? You really get to see who people are based on how they respond to her. So I would love to see that play out on the screen. And I think that would be good as a miniseries.
Oh yeah, the miniseries are the things now. People are definitely I'm gonna give it a couple of episodes and leave it there. We're not about to add any more. Do you want to go, our guest Casey?
I finished reading a new book called Kiss the Scars on the Back of My Neck. I know it's a really good title, right? Mm-hmm. It's by Joe Okonkwo. He's a Black gay author, and it's the best book I've read in a minute. It was really good. It was a classy affair. It's some classy writing. I would love to see that as a limited series on HBO Max or something like that. It was really good. You guys should check it out.
Can you say it again for me, please?
It's called Kiss the Scars on the Back of My Neck by Joe Okonkwo. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm reading a lot of queer books.
Yes.
I also have always need more books. So we're gonna listen. I need to look that up.
List.
Yeah.
I have not seen this book. I have not read this book yet, which people are so surprised. But I would love to. I've read synopsis of it, but Kindred, if Kindred was made into a movie or a miniseries, I would more so give it a movie than a miniseries or a series. And then I'm reading a book. I'm also in this weird science fiction, civil, slavery type of space right now. So I'm reading one book called Dread Nation, and it's basically about if slaves were trained to be protectors for white people during a zombie apocalypse. And then I'm also reading another book called Ring Shout, which is basically where the KKK are actually demons, which they actually are. And there are 3 Black women that are fighting them right now for some reason I have not got to yet. So I'm definitely wanting those type of books to start to kick in, because I'm I love the science fiction and I love this slavery type of weird mashup. So I am excited about that. But what is up, everybody? It is your boy, lordevery.
And I'm derwinking.
And welcome back to another episode of That Black Boy Joy, where we create a space where Black boys can be themselves.
And so much more. Voice crack a little bit on my
It's okay. It's okay. So we, as you all know, we took a break from last week just because of things were kind of rocky and all of that.
The hurricane knocked my power out.
Okay, that's.
I mean, look, the hurricane either came through New Orleans, it shook shit the fuck up, and your girl was without power for 9 days.
Wow!
It just came back yesterday. Yesterday was my first day with power.
Oh my god! Girl, when you were like the Hunger Games.
Not the Hunger Games. Well, there are a lot of people in Louisiana who still don't have it and won't have it until the end of the month. And I'm really hoping it doesn't extend past that for many, but I'm pretty sure there are a lot of parishes who still do not. No, I know for a fact that there are a lot of parishes who still do not have power.
And it's been like really hot there, right?
Let me tell you something. If it wasn't by the grace of God and friends who did have power and or me being in Atlanta for a couple of days last week, I don't know how I would have made it through, because the 2 or 3 nights that I did stay in this house with no electricity, i.e. no air conditioning, I was livid. Okay?
Girl,
I was on my last, when I prayed to God just about 30 to 45 minutes before that air kicked in, and I swear to you, all I could muster up was Starlight Bright.
I would have so many panic attacks. I remember when like my AC like broke for like a day. I was in this bitch. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. It was like 80. I was like 80 degrees in my house. I was like, I'm about to die.
At least you could stick your head in the fridge. I couldn't even do that, child. It was done.
Oh, that is true.
We're good now, though.
Well,
I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad that you are safe, sister. I'm glad that you are doing well right now. We do pray for everyone that was affected by Hurricane Ida. So please pray for those people. Donate. Also, like wherever you can, please do that. But you all, we have a guest in the building, as you all probably heard from the other voice that we've had right now. So we have Casey Hamilton in the building, and we're going to give like a little blurb about who you are, and then we're going to allow you to speak. But Casey Hamilton is a writer and native of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and graduate of Southern University and A&M College. He now writes from Atlanta, Georgia, and after briefly working as a freelance copywriter, Hamilton followed his passion for creative writing with his 2013 amateur debut as a YouTuber, content creator. I actually watched Judy. So I actually loved Judy's when I was in my Gaby days. So I just want to be like, oh my God, it was the connection. But as a YouTube content creator and star of the gay web series Judy's, and Casey's debut book, MENAFTER10, will be releasing this September 28th via Amble Press. The book is about the challenges and complexities of being Black, gay, and online in these modern times, mental health challenges and loneliness in the Black community, the stigmatization of being HIV positive, and the internet promoted promiscuity are among some of the themes explored throughout the book. So we're going to definitely dive into the debut book, but we're also going to kiki with Casey and all of that good stuff. But Casey, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us.
I'm great. I'm so happy to be here on your show. I think you guys are so positive. I love what you guys are doing. And I don't think you guys get enough credit for this. So I'm just going to say it now. And yes, I waited till we were live. But you guys, you ask really good questions. Your questions you really get to the nitty gritty. And I don't think too many people give you enough credit for that. You ask questions that don't come up very often. You guys ask a really good question. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We try to be ourselves. We try to be transparent. We try to ask honest questions. But thank you so much.
I think, and this is something I want to say that Hari said as well. It has something to do with like our identities. Like when we're talking to other queer Black men, there are things that we're thinking about that people who are not queer and Black wouldn't ask. So I think that like we see each other. The simplest way I can say it is we see each other.
Yeah.
We see each other. We appreciate that. I appreciate that. I think I deal with the are we getting the crowd, participation? Are we getting what we need? And I know we've had this conversation, so I really do appreciate that you noticed us and wanted to come onto our platform to discuss your debut novel. I think that was like, I was like, oh my God, we're
you look great. Your skin looks wonderful. You look wonderful. Radiant.
Can we sing that? Well, we're going to dive definitely more into your debut novel and also who you are, Casey. But before that, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to jump into our Black Boy Joy Spotlight. And this is actually like a overall spotlight, but I'm going to also shout out specific people. But this...
Can we ask him the question first? I want to see if we can get that.
Oh, yes, I am.
It's
so
okay.
fun.
I didn't want to get lost because I know once we do spotlight, we just like. So
we do.
I'll ask him, Casey. We always ask our guests what does Black Boy Joy mean to you? And then what brought you joy either today or this week?
Black boy joy to me, it means smiling in spite of the struggle. And the struggle is just existing in this upside down world, especially if you're Black, especially if you're gay. And if you can manage to, make a smile on your face, then I think that's really something to celebrate. So yeah, that's what I think Black boy joy is. What brought me joy this week? The other day I took myself out to like a fancy restaurant because I'm like, hey, I just have a book coming out this month. It took me 3 years to write it, a year to find a publisher. I worked really hard on it. Yes, that's the book. And I'm
We're
like,
show it
I
several
think
times.
I'm gonna put on some clothes, and take myself out.
Treat
Yeah,
yourself.
my friends, they wanted to go to Cheesecake Factory for some reason. I'm like, that ain't the wave I'm on. I deserve a little bit better than Cheesecake Factory. They don't even have good cheesecake.
Okay.
So I took myself out and I just treated myself. And yeah, I spent a nice little dime and nickel on myself, but it felt really good. I got a steak and I was able to do that on my own, pay for it on my own. That felt great. So that brought me joy this week. That wasn't something I was always able to do. So yeah, that brought me
I appreciate
joy.
that it was self-induced. That's
exactly.
beautiful.
And self-paid. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely be feeling a way like when I started to take myself out to dinner and treat myself. I felt like a brand new woman. Like I felt like I'm just like, oh my God, I always feel awkward or feel like I would feel awkward going to dinner by myself. But it's really
right.
it was actually therapeutic. It's very calm, whatever. And also splurge.
Yeah.
Sometimes put that money in that because listen, money is made to be spent. We live in a capitalist world. So it's just
And I did it without my phone. I put my phone deep into my back pocket. So that means I was on my own. I wasn't let me make pretend like I'm doing something. No, I was blatantly just let me see what's going. I was just enjoying myself. The emphasis underlining myself. Yeah.
I love that.
Period. That was a level up.
I love that for you, and I can't wait to talk about this a little bit more with you because I can understand the space to be in to do something like that and to really revel in it.
Yes.
We're gonna have a good time today.
Yes, we are.
We are. What brought you joy, Derwin?
Oh my God! Thank you for asking.
Girl, we do this with everybody. Don't act brand new. I almost forgot. We don't.
If you didn't see my story, the thing that brought me the most joy in the last week is that at 10:49 p.m. on Tuesday, the 8th. Oh, is that the 7th? Whatever. My electricity was restored. And literally, as I was laying there, they said, clink, and I said, oh my God, and woke Eli up and rejoiced and literally stayed on my story to tell everyone that for that time going forward. So that literally brought me the most joy outside of sunbathing on Sunday.
Oh, come on. Listen, you were through adversity, still enjoying and being optimistic.
Oh yeah, one thing about it. New Orleans has a really great sense of community, and that shit really showed up for me. Oh, you know what? Let me say, fuck them lights. That is what brought me joy. That brought me a lot of joy. New Orleans came together in a really beautiful way during the midst of all of us not having electricity in the city. And people were cooking for each other and just reveling and being in space with each other. And I have never felt more connected to strangers in my whole life.
Oh, yes. In fact, I think it's through adversity. I think what New Orleans has been through in the past has definitely brought them a sense of when I was there visiting, I just felt like I was a part of just a part of the community. I have been there for a while. So I think that is something that is very strong. And I love that about New Orleans. I think for me, it wasn't this week, but last week I joined, for people that do not know, I am a nerd. I joined a D&D, so Dungeons and Dragons, party game, type of space. So I got really invested. I bought me some dice. I created me a character, and I started to create a sense of community in this type of realm. So every Friday I partake in a game, or what is it? I want to say a story.
Oh wow!
Nice. As I would say. So we started last week, and this is the we did like combat last week, so we jumped into like our combat, and then this week we're jumping into like our conversations, role playing. So I'm just really excited. I'm getting out of my comfort zone, and I'm definitely just doing things that like I thoroughly enjoy. I've also joined a book club, so the book club is supposed to start this Sunday. So I just am like being a full blown.
I have a question.
I'm just like, let me.
Do you check off the Geek box on Jack'd?
I do. I play Gamer. Well, not on Jack.
You know they don't
like
have
Tinder.
that.
I play Gamer.
They have the little Geek.
Yeah, I do. They do. I wouldn't know.
I was being funny, but
I wouldn't know. We're gonna talk about that too. By the way, my experiences with these damn.
Oh, we're gonna talk about it because we're gonna talk about it with Casey too.
We're gonna talk about it. Right.
We're gonna fight the battle.
We're gonna fight the bats. But now we can move into our Black Boy Joy spotlights for the week. And this week our Black Boy Joy spotlight is actually a series. And the series is called For the Boys, and it is actually on YouTube, but it's through Slate TV. And For the Boys is a web series co-created by oh Jesus. Hold on, let me drink. Hold on. All right. It is a web series co-created by Makai Lee and Ellis C. Dawson that follows the lives of three young queer Black friends, Jamal, Anthony, Saeed, as they navigate love and friendship in New York City. Chandler Bryant co-stars as Anthony with Drew Coleman as Jamal and Lamont Walker II as Saeed. The series premiered earlier this year on Slate TV, YouTube channel, and has garnered tens of thousands of views on each of its 4 episodes since it's launched. And it actually just dropped its like part 2 of its first series. So like the first 2 episodes of the second, I don't want to say second, episode 5 and 6 have just been released as well. And it's been getting like a lot of traction from the community. And there's also I have joined some Instagram live discussions about like these shows and like viewing parties and things like that. And I think that it is something that is kind of like, a breath of fresh air to have a show where we are seeing dynamics of our queer experiences being navigated in a space that just feels authentic. So there's like specifically the character of, was it Anthony? Anthony, they present as non-binary, and you actually start to see them form a relationship with somebody, and a person is embracing them as they are. And I think I just like really love that interaction, because we know sometimes in our community, people that are non-binary kind of feel like they won't be able to find love or whatever the case may be due to whatever the rules and shit that the community be having. But it's really dope to have that experience like play out on TV. Like, yes, we all can find love. We ain't got to be these masculine men or these feminine men. We can be whatever we want, and we can be on the spectrum. So I really appreciate this show.
Yeah, I just subscribed and added on my watch list. So thanks for that. I appreciate it.
And it's a quick. It's like 22 to 30 minutes. Also, the soundtrack for the show is like iconic. Every time like episode, like I just have to Shazam what the fuck is the songs at the end, and because I'm like, it gives me like the Noah's Ark. And I don't want to compare, because I think people compare like Normani to Beyonce and Chloe Bailey to Beyonce. But it gives me.
Why are we mentioning? Okay.
I hate when people compare.
Yes.
I hate when people compare. Like, let that be that.
So
it does. It gives me the essence that I've like begged and always wanted in a queer show.
Mm-hmm.
So Judy's. Let's not forget Judy's as well. We're not gonna forget about that, but definitely love that. So if you all would love to check it out, For the Boys on YouTube and also through Slate TV. Slate TV produces, and Judy's is on Slate TV as well, correct?
I think so. It's been some time since I checked. I was MIA, but I know the guys behind Slate TV, and I love them. And I love this show. Their cinematography is really good too. For the Boys, I'm so happy for them.
Yes.
I really am. I'm so happy for them.
Yeah. So shout out to everybody that's a part. Check it out on Slate TV and YouTube and For the Boys. And we are now going to get into some of our hot topics for the week. And the first one, I just want to say I appreciate everyone coming out to the
We got Do we have to start there?
I don't.
Do we have to start there?
What do you want to call it? Because that was interesting.
Can we start with the
I hope
condolences
somebody
first?
was filming that because
can we start with the condolences first?
Do it.
I was literally heartbroken. One thing I do appreciate is that the video of Nene talking to the people at the Lanithia surfaced before Greg passed, because that gave me like a 2-day time or a window to just like prepare myself for Greg's passing, because that hit and I was like, I'm going to be devastated. I thought we had a good week, 2 weeks, maybe a month. So when the turnaround happened and the news broke that we lost Greg Leaks, the first husband of Bravo, I truly really my heart broke. I was so sad, and I just want to make sure I say some positive things about Greg before we do go into this necessary conversation. Truly a light. I have been watching Real Housewives since I was 13 years old. I am 26. This show has been around for half of my life. And Greg Leaks is the calmest and most kind and gentle and consistent and wise character to come from that network. Or to grace that network, because he existed well before them. And I am so fortunate that I have gotten the positive moments just from watching the TV with Greg on it, where I was just like, hey, Greg is my nigga. Like, or he's, there calming Nene down, or he's offering wisdom in the situation, or just the dynamic that they gave. And honestly, I feel like hundreds of thousands of people were touched by, if not millions of people were touched by Greg Leaks, and what a life to live. And he and his family should be so proud of his legacy, because that was an extraordinary man.
Yeah, I wanted to come from a space like there was so much love and support at the celebration of life for Greg Leaks. It was so many women that I have not seen come together. The housewives come together throughout whatever we've seen on screen to show support and love for Greg and Nene. Like, I recently also seen Kenya speak about Greg, and it was nothing but positivity and just nothing but I was like, oh my God, wow. But it just shows how much Greg was an amazing man. And I was just really proud that people came in love and positivity for Nene in these challenging times. So I didn't want to stay on this conversation too long. I just want to say that there were memories.
Wasn't the problem. The problem was I didn't want to lead with the event, because the event had a way more going on than them people being there for Greg. And that was something else.
Because
can we talk about that?
Because
they looked a mess. Oh my God.
Now go.
I don't want to be inappropriate, but did anyone see Apollo's wife?
Yes, Serene, that's exactly what I was.
What? I live in Atlanta.
Know the Flash was going to be on?
Wow, that's
full titty.
Did you not know the Flash was going to be on?
Full titty.
But I feel like even without the Flash, it was a lot.
It was
the Flash,
timing.
though.
You're wearing that. You're doing this at a going away party.
And look, can we talk about? It was quite the celebration of life. There was a whole concert. It was
amazing.
Wow.
Right?
I don't know. It was a lot. It was. Wow.
It was a lot to take in.
No, it really was. I am not one to judge about how people grieve.
Recording and taping that, because it definitely seemed like
I want to know what it was like.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I don't want to shit on whoever Freddie O is, but those pictures weren't great. Which was kind of unfortunate, because everybody kind of looked a mess, everybody. And it was just the cast. I guess it was the Flash. It could have been the lighting, could have been the heat and the Lanithia. I don't know. See, this is why I didn't want to start with this, because I knew I had a whole bunch of bullshit to say about it. I do.
Listen, I was talking about these. I was saying I appreciate the coming out and support. I wasn't talking about the event yet. I was just I was starting off with the positive.
No.
People came to support.
I know.
I was not talking about.
It was the Lanithia lounge of it all for me. Why was it held there at that venue? I understand. Well, he was part of the owner, but wow, that's like a club.
And I know it couldn't have been for the funeral expenses, because I know Greg had life insurance.
How everyone was dressed. It was
it was a party. It was I was very interested to see the gospel folk there. I don't know, because I saw that there was a ceremony, so I thought that maybe the Lanithia was a pre-thing. I didn't realize that was the ceremony. When I saw the pictures,
it was a ceremony.
I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was like I thought it was like a pre or a post, or like I didn't know it was the event. Like,
oh, was it a post?
I don't know.
Don't quote me.
I was curious. Please tell me it was a post. Post?
I don't think it was the funeral. Okay. I don't think it was the funeral.
Okay, good. Okay, Jesus, because I was like, that is.
I just thought that because it was at the Lanithia, that maybe was like a repass, but I don't know that was what it was. Like, I don't know that it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. What I do know is that I have been thinking about Nene a lot lately, and I'm really hoping that she'll have all this love and support she needs. I'm glad that the women of the former cast members and current cast members were there to support. I hope that they did come there genuinely, and I hope that the ones who should be there for Nene will be there. I'm looking at Marlo Hampton. Because they were strained a little bit before. I know that really concerned me. When I saw them dancing and smiling, I was like, that's good. I hope that she'll be a real support for Nene for the next however much time that Nene needs to recover or to, I don't know even really recover, but, to cope. Because as far as everyone else is concerned, I'm pretty sure they weren't really talking beforehand.
Yeah.
That's what they said. That's what both of them said. So.
Kim Zolciak was there. Wow.
She was with big old Croy.
Oh, yeah, she was with Corey. She was with Croy. Pull the lever, Croy.
Clearly not playing football anymore. I didn't realize that he wasn't. I
didn't know he was.
But I forgot Kenya had said he wasn't, but I could see that he was not.
I didn't know he played football in the beginning. All right.
I think everyone can take a sip on that one.
Right, really quickly, how are y'all thoughts? Do you all watch the other franchises? How are you all's thoughts and vibes about the other franchises? Beverly Hills, Potomac. We know Salt Lake is coming back with some school drama. Just really quick, your all's thoughts.
I don't, so I'll let you guys take that one.
We won't spend too much time on it.
We will not. We we definitely will not.
I will give y'all a rundown though, real quick.
Give us the tea on our housewives.
So with Beverly Hills, Erica Jane's little husband scandal is still going strong. Erica's getting super defensive and threatening her castmates for asking her valid questions that I'm sure a court of law will also be asking her in the next couple of months if they have not already. And so that was really interesting to watch her just snap on the people who she has to film with, considering it's work. So there's that. That's it. That's all that's going on over there. Literally, Erica is the storyline. And of course, with Potomac, it's still kind of moving a little slow.
Very slow.
They're on Wendy's ass, and they need to get up off of it. I'm over it. Like, it's just,
she's the plot line. She's fighting for that chair next to Andy right now.
And
her and
Candace is angry at Ashley because she misinterpreted what Ashley said when she went to the kitchen.
She's mad because in the prior episode she still was high off that argument with her husband. So Ashley was the next target because she even came because remember they put the 3 hours later, like they still had been arguing. So it was Ashley was just the target. Ashley was just the target. When she called her wide body, I said, you body shame. But when she said forehead, I said, you right. She said forehead. I said,
there's so many things a person could say about Candace. And I'm so, honestly, I'm going to make sure if I haven't said it on here I'm going to say it today. The beef between Ashley and Candace is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It comes out of nowhere. It is not very, I won't say it's not entertaining, but it's not like substantial. When you get like Nene, well, that was a lot. Sure. When you get Nene and Kim, it's like funny, right? Or Nene and Kenya, it's like, okay, like those kind of make sense, right? When you get to Giselle and Karen, that's like the staple of the franchise. These two beefing, but also being friends enough that they can get over it after some time.
Yeah.
Candace and Ashley don't make sense. And I don't understand why we're still here, why we were here in the first place. I also don't think they need to be friends. So I just kind of graze over it. Like, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, and your girls over at Salt Lake.
Oh, wow, they're coming with the drama. Actually, my roommate Eli is going to end up watching it with me because I think he just never imagined that anything. He doesn't watch any reality TV at all. But since we live together, we only have one TV because I refuse to get one. he's been watching Potomac with me, and when he found out that Salt Lake City has one, he was like, Salt Lake City, what do they have there? And I was like, Mormons. And he was like, that might be interesting.
They have Mormons and drama.
And now the motherfuckers is going to jail, so I'm very excited.
Yeah.
The trailer was good. It was great.
I'm excited. I think I'm gonna have to get back into Salt Lake because of interesting drama. I think I'm too far behind on Beverly Hills, so I definitely am not going to finish that. And I watch
Don't start it,
Potomac regularly.
I don't even care about it, honestly. It's just entertaining. I'm not invested.
Yeah, so there goes the Housewives tea for y'all. Really quickly, we have some music dropping tomorrow. We have Chloe Bailey. Yeah, Chloe Bailey is dropping Have Mercy. We also have Yebba's debut album dropping tomorrow. We also have Ari Lennox's new single dropping tomorrow. And then coming soon, September 17th to be exact, we have Lil Nas X debut album, which I am super excited about. I am ready to give my girl all her coins, all her money. I think this is going to be a great project for him. He has some iconic people that is a part of this as well. So praise all this new music that is coming. I don't really like Donda and Drake, those two girls.
Drake's album was boring. It was a snooze fest. I hated it.
Yeah.
I don't care what the girls are saying about
people
that.
Like that. And then the last 4 hot topics, I know this is something I'm interested in, and I know I've been following. So the CW has greenlit a show called Tom Swift, and it's basically about a black gay billionaire, and it is a spinoff off of the Nancy Drew series that is on the CW. And I am super excited to have I think our first black queer man as a lead in a show. I don't think that's ever on the CW. Let me just say on the CW. Right. Let me not.
I was like, well, wait a minute. I was really looking at you like, girl, we already had this conversation before.
I forgot this.
But he's the title character. This is his show.
He is the title character. Did not watch Nancy.
This is network television. I think that's the important part. This is that's what you get for free.
Yes. So it's the CW, so I already know it's going to be some shits and giggles, but I'm super excited to see this black gay billionaire solve the mysteries, find love, all of that shit. CW usually gets a lot of seasons, shows get a lot of seasons, and they get 27 episodes that are an hour, and then, Riverdale is still going, and I don't even know what the fuck is happening over there. So
never even watched that.
It got too crazy for me, child. I was like, this is not the comic books that I grew up reading. Okay?
It's far from that.
Not Archie. This is not Archie. Okay? Archie's Chilling Adventures when I was a kid. I was not watching that. But shout out to the show. I will be checking it out, and I'll be giving y'all some of my thoughts and opinions on the show when it does drop.
Yay.
And with that, we are going to take a quick break, and we're going to jump into the reason we are here, the meat and the potatoes, the Casey Hamilton interview. So y'all, we are back, and we are here with Casey. Casey, how are you? First of all, Casey, this is your debut book that you are dropping with us. How are you feeling?
Wow. That's a very good question. I feel very proud of myself, to be honest with you. A lot of people have been asking me that. How do I feel? It took me 3 years to write this, a year to find a publisher in a pandemic, mind you. And a year of waiting and editing and everything to get it pretty and polished to actually be published. So now that we're coming up on that, I just feel proud of myself. I spent, I'm a creative person. I'm a writer, but I haven't besides this book. Before this book, I didn't really get to put anything. I mean, the last episode of Judy's was 2015. So that's a long time for a creative person to go without using their voice, and that took a toll on me. I'm not gonna lie. Because a book is something that people only care about once it's finished.
Yeah.
And if it takes a time to write, it's hard. So, yeah, I feel proud of myself.
Yeah. And before we even move on, can you tell us your version of what Men After 10, your debut novel, is? Can you tell us that?
Well, as far as the title or the
The whole
actual
we can
book,
get into
or
why the name Men After
yeah,
10, but the what is
okay,
the background, like what is the story of Men After 10?
Your
Your
synopsis?
synopsis.
yeah.
Thank you, love.
So,
You're welcome.
Man After 10 is a novel. It's about a fictional app called Man After 10, which is catered towards, gay men of color. And it's about it's like each chapter is a different hookup. It's about app culture, hookup culture, where we are now as Black gay men. Yeah.
Mm.
And the title, it's titled Man After 10 because that's the name of the app in the
Yeah.
book. But it's titled that because, the late hours of the night is when the apps reach their peak, pretty much. It's a lot of activity happening. That's one reason. And also because it consists of 10
hmm
chapters. And what happens after those 10 chapters is kind of very open ended.
Hmm.
The book does not necessarily it doesn't neatly wrap everyone's story up into one neat package. So it's kind of up to us as readers to fill in the
Yeah.
blanks. So it's, as far as what happens.
And
What made you want to tell this specific story?
This honestly, this was the story that I could not leave this earth without telling. Like if something were to happen to me tomorrow, and this is the only story I got to tell, I could probably be okay with it. I'm a person of passion, and I wrote from a place of passion. And if I didn't, I don't think I would have endured the 3 years it took me to write this, the additional year it took to find a publisher and whatnot. Uh, I was at a very low point when I started this book. I had just moved from Atlanta to Los Angeles. Um, and that just was not working out for me. I was meeting the worst people in LA, and it just wasn't working out. And I had tried everything I had in me to try as far as navigating my way in the world that I lived in, and I was getting the same results. And my depression, which was untreated and undiagnosed, was just really it was eating me up, and it was really consuming me. I was at a very low point when I started this book. I was out of options. I didn't know any other approach to take. I had tried everything that I knew. I moved from one side of the country to the opposite coast. I tried, deleting social media, getting off of social media entirely. I was like,
Wow.
okay. I tried everything. I tried good boys. I tried bad boys. I tried, being a nun. I tried being wild and out. I tried everything, but I was getting the same results. I was really out of options, and I was really just at a low point mentally. My oldest friend died in like the worst way. He was also from Louisiana, small town Louisiana.
Wow.
And I felt so many things about that, and I didn't really get a chance to express it. And that's what led me to this book. And there was so much being put out at the time. Like the movie Moonlight came out around the same time I started writing this book. And people regarded that as like such a great story. And it was so unfulfilling for me. It was so. Am I the only one? Am I the only one?
I loved it.
It was
I
very
was very
unfulfilling
vocal
for me.
about. I was
loved
very
it.
vocal.
Look, the cinematography was great.
It was
The
beautiful.
performances were great, but it was the story of the DL brother, which is what I grew up with. I grew up hearing that story. How are you this attractive black gay man who became a drug dealer
because of trauma,
and you've never had sex with a man or a woman? And I wanted to know more about that person, and they never really explored that. And it was a lot left out in that movie. And I just wanted to write something raw and real, something that really spoke to how hard it is, honestly. And it's very hard being black and gay. And I live in Atlanta. So if anyone knows how hard it is, I know. And I went through so much besides my friend passing and the impact that had on me, that I just needed to express. So it was very cathartic. And I just wanted to write something real that was rooted in reality, that really spoke in an honest way about the struggle that we all have.
Yeah. How is this process different for you with writing for Judy's? I know that that's writing a script versus writing a novel. How was that process something that was different for you?
So I've never really talked about Judy's in a very long time. It's so crazy that you asked me that.
I understand. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry. I just like I know you from that.
I'm glad you did. No, I'm glad you did. Judy's was great for me. It was great in many ways in my life because I was creating, and I was using the gift that I was given, and as long as I'm creating, I'm happy, and that was great. But what people don't know about Judy's is that I was the creator, I was the writer, I was the director, I was every camera person there was. In most cases, I was the editor. I was, I did the casting. I was the actor. I did the voiceovers. It was a lot. It was not. I didn't have a crew basically, and I took Judy's very seriously because I was building a following. I was telling a story. I was using my gift. But just because I take it seriously doesn't mean everyone else necessarily is that dedicated to it. And although I'm playing many roles in Judy's, I'm not every role, and there's other people involved also. So Judy's kind of burnt me out playing so many roles for so long, and there was no profit involved in Judy's. It was just a YouTube web series, an amateur YouTube web series. No one got rich off of Judy's or anything like that. So I was no longer able to create Judy's because of other people that didn't take it as seriously as I did for, whatever reasons. And, a creative that isn't able to create because of other people is a very bad thing to be. So, the next project I decided to do, I was like, no, the next project I do, I want to be fully 100% responsible for, because I can trust myself. I don't know if I can trust anyone else. And a novel seemed like a great idea. It's something that I always wanted to do. So I did it. Yeah.
You introduced the reader to multiple characters and their points of view. Which one was your most favorite to write? Which one did you feel most connected to?
Yes.
Bronte for sure, because I'm a writer, and I'm always very partial to characters that are writers. And also during that period, I was in LA. I moved on the opposite side of the country from everything and everyone I knew. I did it I didn't tell anyone. I did it without warning.
Are you me?
and I was lonely. It was not working out. LA was not working out for me. And I didn't feel comfortable to express that. It was not working out. But I tried to make it work, but it just wasn't working.
I think that is okay. I think a lot of people try to force this LA down your throat. Like it's the place to be. In reality, like if it's not for you, it is not for. I know it's a lot of opportunities there, but like you can always fly in and fly out.
Right. But LA was just, I was meeting like the worst of the worst people, the most vapid people. And, the people back home and everything, they were proud of me because I moved to LA. I got out. I grew up in a shotgun house. My bedroom was where the washer and dryer was. You know what I mean? And I moved to LA and lived on my own with no roommate. People were proud of me for that. I didn't feel comfortable expressing to them that I'm sorry, but this ain't it for me. I tried to make it work for 3 years and, I caved eventually.
Yeah. So with this book, the shit was very intimate. The sex, the creating.
Yes, we can talk about that.
I was just like, how did you feel like being so descriptive and what we do behind closed doors or in front of people or whatever the case may be? Did you feel like, whoa, like this? Would this be picked up, or will people like this, or is this too explicit for everyone or certain people?
It was very cathartic to write this. I was at such a low point again for so many different reasons, from being burnt out from doing a web series from losing a friend that passed in a way that gay men kind of don't pass in anymore in this modern day age, and being impacted by that, but not really being able to express it creatively. Yeah, I felt just a lot of things that I couldn't really express. So I decided that I would write this book. I would dedicate 100% to it. I didn't write anything else while I was writing this book. I just concentrated solely on this, and it was hard. It was hard. Does that answer your question?
I think it does. No, I think your book, you are really great at capturing the raw and complexities of these characters and our interactions in reality. Reading the book, I was definitely like, I know this sounds like something that is not made up. That is something that you know when you think you read. Sometimes you read books, you're like, could this really happen in real life, or is this something that really
right?
But in this book, you get to that raw and unfiltered and just be honest and transparent type of relationship with the characters. And I think that was something that really stood out to me in this book was it was a lot of vulnerability. There was a lot of conversations about mental health. There was a lot of conversations about loneliness. There was loneliness. There was a lot of conversations about just simply wanting to just hook up and not have any connections. And I think that was something that do you feel like that is something that is needed to be like showcased to the world right now with your novel?
I do. We're living in a loneliness epidemic right now. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's been a lot of like loneliness going on, especially with the pandemic. Yeah, even before the pandemic, I just find the Black gay experience is very lonely.
Yeah.
Especially as you get older. And as Black gay men, especially, we're not really trained for getting older. 25 doesn't really feel like 25 for us. It feels like a lot older.
Like, it's
you know
double.
what I mean? Yeah. And when I was 25 specifically, I felt like that was like when my awakening really came. I started to wake up like, where am I going to be 5 years from now? And Beyonce had just released self-titled, and it was like just like she was grown, and I feel like I was grown, and it was just like wow, it was a lot. But yeah, I'm sorry. Your question?
Oh
again?
no, the question I just was talking about like this book opening up that raw and honest experience that we all know about. We know what it is like behind closed doors in the apps. We sometimes show our girlfriends or our friends this, but we don't really have people that are like heteronormative, like really understanding like, the conversations or the thought process that we have in these moments. A lot of people like sometimes can be like, oh, why are they so promiscuous? Or why is, these things that are these connotations. But it's like, this book is allowing you to get to understand some people's stories, not all, but like get to know some people's thought process and that vulnerability that can come into an intimate space. That dating app is a voyage for us to feel like we don't have to hide or feel like we have to, we will show up, we can showcase our best assets, and I think that is something that we see with the characters in this book as well. We know who they are, right? The readers, but when they're presenting themselves to the people that they're meeting on their app, they're putting this emphasis on something. We're seeing this person maybe like I may be scrawny behind, you might not know, but you're going to see how big I am, if you know what I mean, like all of that stuff. So it's like that combination of, it's like this, it's like this, like, it's like not a fantasy, but it's like this fascination with like, I'm going to give you what I want you to give. And, you play with that. And I think that is something that in our community, we know the apps, we see it. We know what the hookup culture is and all that stuff like that. But like seeing also people's thought process behind, we wake up, we hear the ring. We know what that means. The travel host, all of that stuff. The chime, we know that. So really getting into that, normalizing, this reality is what this book is allowing for our listeners and viewers or people who is reading it to just really grasp. And do you think that this book is something that anybody can pick up, or something that you feel like it caters to? Like, if you grab it, you won't understand what is happening.
I wrote the book that I wish I would have had when I was just starting out as a young gay, trying to find my way, because a lot of, during my period was more like, the biggest adversity in a lot of gay stories that are told is like coming out. And, I came out when I was 18. I grew up in a shotgun house. I grew up Jehovah's Witness, which is a religion that was forced upon me. Wasn't one that I accepted in any kind of way. And I had a lot that I wanted to express. So I wrote the book that I wish I would have had, because it kind of, a lot of the stories that were being told made it seem like coming out was like the end of our story. If we were able to be accepted as who we were, then it was kind of all rainbows and sunshine from there. And, I feel like the story just starts there as gay men, and particularly Black gay men, because a lot of it is about navigating your way in among other Black gay men. You know what I mean? And I wrote, so I didn't, if you notice, none of the stories really include coming out or anything like that. It's about just trying to find your way among, the community that you belong to.
What did you learn while you were writing this book?
My mental health was at such a low point when I wrote this book. I had undiagnosed, untreated depression. I was lonely, and that wasn't it wasn't something that I talked about. You know what I mean? It wasn't something I took medication for and things like that. And you would be surprised what this book brought out in me. It made me so much more comfortable to talk about mental health and my depression, my self-esteem, and just what I was going through. It really opened me up. It was very cathartic to write this book.
So would you say the writing this was something that was therapeutic to you as well, right? Like, not, having that space to talk about, not really saying this is who you're dealing with this, but somebody else, having that freedom and range to create this story in that space for them. Would you say that this was something that was therapeutic for you as your debut?
Oh yeah, it was very therapeutic for me. Before I wrote this book, I didn't talk about depression. I didn't talk about my depression. I didn't talk about loneliness. I didn't talk about the fact that I was balding when I first moved to LA,
listen,
and that was affecting my, my image of myself. And what worked for me in Atlanta didn't necessarily work for me in LA. Those were things that I didn't talk about. And I spent 3 years with this book. These characters became my best friends, in a city where I didn't feel like I had any. So it was a very intimate experience. I mean, I don't think I will ever write anything as personal as this, honestly.
I wanted to say too, and this is actually to the both of you, that there's something to say about that loneliness. And not only has it felt like within our own community, but like as of right now in general, people are having less sex. And this is something my roommate reminds me of very often. People are super disconnected for a number of reasons. And I think, make sure I hold up the book for y'all. When you're dealing with apps like MENAFTER10, those are some of the things that help us feel or make us feel less connected. So there's absolutely a relevance in the forum that this is told through. That's really what I wanted to make sure I said. What surprised you the most?
What surprised me the most? MENAFTER10 is like, it's a very sex driven novel. what people don't know is that I was having like the least amount of sex as I was writing it during that period of my life, because I had so many like body image issues, and I just really felt like when I moved to LA, I was just like, I felt so small in a city that was so big, and I was very unlike myself for so long, and it lasted for 3 years. And the irony and all that was just very surprising to me. Yeah.
I'm just like, ugh. Okay, like.
I mean, if you read the book, you would think that I was like having the best sex ever, but I wasn't having much sex during the period. So a lot of it was just relying on memories. So I guess my memories, right? Yeah,
relying on what you know. I mean, I think
you're good and bad.
For the readers, when the book first, I don't want to. Let me. When you get into this book, you won't know that it was missing. All right, let's just say that you won't know that you were, whatever the case may be. We got some strong imaginations and all that. But what is one thing you want people to take away from Men After 10?
I really hope Men After 10 makes people have a conversation with themselves, and especially if they're Black and gay, and think about where we are in this particular time, because it's quite a time to be alive. And even more so on top of that, it's quite a time to be Black and gay in the time that we're in. And I hope it makes people ask themselves, are they using these apps? Are these apps using them? What are we profiting off of these apps? Because they are promoting promiscuity. They really are. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with promiscuity, but
that wasn't a face promiscuity.
I mean, I'm just saying.
We get this. You know how drugs release like a temporary high, or we get this buzz, you get your little dopamine. I think for some people, that moment that ding comes, you get that dopamine. I mean, we know on social media when you get likes, when you get that attention,
right?
We also have to go into the conversation with ourselves of what are, like you said, what are they using us? Are we using them? Loneliness, all of that stuff. Like, I know I've used the apps and I'm just like, I'm using it for the wrong intentions. So all of that. So I'm glad you are wanting us to challenge that notion.
I just did a survey about that too, by the way, about the reason we use those. The apps are becoming a really huge conversation, or I shouldn't say they're becoming huge, but the conversations around them are growing outside of beyond the conversations we have with ourselves. So this is really great timing.
I mean, this is, child, the apps are a part of our community now, and we have to figure out how do we want it to work for us or against us,
I mean, if you really think about it, it's easier than it's ever been to be a gay man, right? I mean, you can go on an app. You don't even have to leave your freaking place to find someone, to filter them to exactly what you're looking for. You know exactly what you're getting into, what their body looks like and everything before you even get into the situation. Yeah. It's very easy. It's easier than it's ever been. But if you really think about it, it also feels harder than it's ever been to find genuine connection with other gay men. It really does. And I wasn't trying to be dismal or depressing, but I just really wanted to explore that because it is quite a time to be alive. It really is. And I just really wanted to tell a raw, true story of what it's like to be a Black gay man in this day and age.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
So
one of the things I'd like to thank you. Well, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Technical difficulties on the side, but continue.
I want to thank you because you've been very vulnerable with us as well as in this novel. And I think that that's something that both our listeners and viewers and your readers will be graced and very much blessed by. So thank you for taking the time to talk to us about it. And I think if I have certainly felt that here, sitting here, and I know that reading the book is the same experience, and so I'm hoping that is also reflected for our viewers.
Q, let our viewers and listeners know when and where they can purchase Men After 10.
Yes, Men After 10 will be available everywhere September 28th. It is available on paperback, on Kindle, ebook, and audiobook on September 28th. I highly recommend that you guys read it and purchase it, because as Black gay men, we're not really considered a viable market.
Where are we purchasing
it? We're purchasing it through Amazon, pretty much everywhere books are sold. Pretty much. I just highly suggest that we, as Black gay men, support it, because it really is a book for Black gay men, written by Black gay men. And
we need your earphones back, and we can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
Oh, man. It's fine. Oh, okay. If it died,
I'm so sorry. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Faintly.
Okay. I highly suggest that you guys support it, because a lot of our literature is published by smaller publishers, which I'm assigned to, which don't necessarily have all the resources that they should. It's kind of like we're not considered a viable market in the publishing world. It's like, I really want to prove everyone wrong. That Black gay men show up to support other Black men.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for coming by and chatting with us about your debut novel. I have thoroughly enjoyed reading the stories and getting to know your thought process, and also the characters in the story's thought process about their lives and all of those things. Where can our listeners and viewers, follow you at on social media so that they can even continue the conversation with you?
Yeah, on Twitter, I am Recreational Drama, abbreviated as RECREATL Drama. On Instagram, I'm Recreational Drama, and everywhere else, I'm Recreational Drama, or Casey Hamilton.
Yeah, sorry, I'm delayed, so I was a little bit, but thank you. So, like we always say, you all can continue the conversation with us on our platforms as well. If you would like to continue the conversation with me on my social medias, you can hit me up on Instagram and Twitter at _lordevery. That is _LORDEVERY.
You guys know that you can find me on Instagram at derwinking. That's DERWINKING, and on Twitter at Free Negro. That's FREENEGREAUX.
And if you all would like to continue the conversation on the podcast platform, you can hit us up on Instagram and Twitter at ThatBlackBoyJoy. And if you all would like to be a guest on the show or just simply write into us, you can hit us up at ThatBlackBoyJoyPodcast@gmail.com. And you all can also check out our visual podcast on YouTube at That Black Boy Joy. And like we always tell our guests, please tell our viewers and our listeners, please be so in love with who you are. Bye.